Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the game room. I am your host, Nick, and we're just going to talk a lot of game stuff today. We're hanging out in the game room with Riles Becker, another awesome streamer buddy of mine over there. Say hi, guy.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hey, yeah, we're going to just try and do this as often as we get a chance to break the stream of just games and just talk about what we've been gaming and extracurricular activities. Those are always enjoyable to chat with each other
Yes, yes.
about. So hopefully you guys enjoy these. Let us know if you do. Hit us up in the chat as well, live here on Twitch. And if you're not watching on Twitch and you're watching later on VOD over at YouTube, uh, get over to Twitch. Follow over there and hit that button so you can see when we go live and just play games or chat games or whatever. But we're just chatting tonight, and we got a little bit on the docket. I think we're going to talk what we think about Xbox. That's the plan. What's going on over there? Got some hype of 2025. I think we're going to discuss as well. See what's coming up next year. Be
Also true.
here, be here before we know it, man. It's right around the corner, and I got a couple new little techie pieces I've been playing around with as well. I want to give my impressions on, and what we've been streaming and gaming, and what we're planning to stream next. I think is part of the topic. So now, Kelly, you've been streaming quite a few things here recently. Um, most recently, what Oblivion?
So yeah, we're working on going through Oblivion, which I wasn't really sure like what my original plan for the game was gonna be. I was like, I'll just run the main story.
Right,
But
liar.
that is taking taking a turn. So we accidentally became a vampire.
Oh,
So that's a thing, which is actually like kind of tough because you can't for you to run around during the daytime, you had to have recently fed on somebody. So if you're a couple days in, you haven't fed, like the sun like totally destroys you. So that's made it a little interesting. And then we've done. See, we're running a mage,
okay,
and then we decided to join the Dark Brotherhood, and so we're running through that as well.
nice.
So yeah, we've taken quite a few detours. I'm not really sure like when I'll say I'm done with Oblivion, but I figure we'll finish Dark Brotherhood, we'll finish Mages Guild, and then we'll probably run the main story, and that'll probably be good enough. But you never know. Like that's probably one of those games I could just play forever and never actually be quote unquote finished.
Yeah,
But anyway, yeah.
yeah, that's a big one.
Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Yep, it's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun to go back to. Like it holds up for being as old as it is, and there's just like a lot of charming jank to it, and I love it.
Are you on PC playing it?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Through Game Pass.
Oh, okay, okay. I was about to ask whether or not there's been any like kick-ups in the graphics department, or if they've done anything like semi remaster or anything since it
Uh, I
launched.
think they're I think they're actually well. Hopefully, they're working on a remaster. I know that somebody in the mod community. I think they call it Sky Oblivion,
Oh,
where
okay.
it's built in Skyrim, but they like remade Oblivion in Skyrim somehow.
Huh.
But anyway,
Cool. Nice. Nice. Yeah, that was one I remember I remember when it launched on 360. Um that game made me a bunch of friends at the time because I was working in retail, and I was the guy to see if you wanted an Xbox 360 because they were selling like hotcakes, and
yeah.
lots of dudes. I made really good friends with. I'm still friends with quite a few of them actually. We used to play that game till the wee hours of the morning, and we'd make our own lyrics to the music that would just be going around. The one I remember the most was uh, and you guys have to let me know if this sounds familiar because I don't know the tune, but I remember the words that we do. We'd be fight, fight, fight. We're in a fight, fight, fight. Where I was that tone just dun 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 da 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 was just all the time. So we had to do something about that. Boy, that was the good old days. Good stuff.
Oh man, yeah. It's like that's like that's one of those 360 era games that is so good. Like with was the first Fable
Yeah,
360 or was that OG Xbox?
that was OG Xbox. Yep.
Holy shit. Man, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
couldn't believe that thing could
So
run on
Fable
that at the
2
time.
Fable 2 would have been 360, but that
Yeah.
I want to go back and play at least Fable 1 and Fable 2. Like I
Oh
think
yeah.
that'd be fun to make runs on those as well because I really remember enjoying those also. But
Yes, they're on my
maybe
roulette
sometime
wheel to
along.
spin one day. We'll see if they
Yeah.
pop up on that wheel or not. But I'm excited to check them out too, all over again, especially with my kids. Those type of games just
Yes.
they're not around anymore. Where you can just they're kind of janky, like you said. They got that jank charm to them, where
Yeah.
that's part of the fun. So running around Fable, kicking some chickens and farting on people was
Yeah.
it's a
Never
lost
gets
art.
old.
Yeah, exactly. Never gets
No.
old. Lost art of video game making. They need to bring that back. Yeah, that's
It'll definitely
awesome.
be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting to see what they do for the new Fable too, like how much of that translates from the
Hmm.
old stuff to the new. If they decide to bring any of that, or is this going to be just like a totally new template? Hopefully, they bring some of that old classic Fable charm
Yeah,
along with it. It seems like they will from the trailers, but
it
we'll have to
does
see
feel like
how
that.
things
It
go.
looks it
Yeah,
looks like it's going to definitely be comical. So I'm hoping they don't go
yeah,
too serious and they definitely keep it more in the comical range would be preferred.
yeah.
Yeah. As far as on the Loud Thumbs channel, if you guys have been watching me play, um, most recently was Nine Souls. I checked that one out. That is just a little indie developed game that you can pick up on Game Pass as well, just like Oblivion over there. And I'm not too far into it yet. I am about an hour into it. Combat's good. It's 2D side scroller, but I'm playing story style on that thing, man, because I know it can be difficult. It's one of those like Blasphemous. If you guys are familiar with that, it's kind of an Elden Ring side scroller where one hit kills are gonna happen. That's the same. Definitely could be the same in this game as well. But it's so mysterious right now. I can't really tell you what it's about. There's not
Okay.
enough there yet. I haven't got into the meat part of the story other than the fact that it appears like I've died and I am now trying to like change the afterlife or the purgatory you're in or whatever you're stuck in right now. It feels like you're trying to work your way back to life maybe. I have a theory that because you play as a cat, and it's called Nine Souls, and cats have 9 lives. I have a theory that something along those lines is playing out. I know that the Nine Souls itself is apparently 9 different souls or type gods that are in the game that it appears like you're going to have to fight through, and then the game's
All right.
over. I hope it's a little more twisty turny than that though, because I like the idea of the playing on the cat and the 9 lives situation, but they could have just done that with the name, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, Combat's pretty cool. Art style is fabulous. It's fantastic. It
Yeah.
looks like a really sweet cartoon, man. I mean, it's so amazing how far these games have come to look like what we watch on television a lot of the time. And it's very fluid and enjoyable so far. Um, Only small pet peeve of mine is I don't like to read everything that's going on. But you just gotta read everything that's happening on the text as far as story goes. But I'm bad at pronunciating names and shit like that, so it's like tune in and watch me fuck up everybody's name. But it's so far
Watch
it's
it in
so good.
real time.
Watch it in real time, exactly. Uh,
Hooray.
Yes, correct me as second by second when it comes to names, but the combat's actually really fun in it. It's building slowly as well. I mean, I'm an hour in and they're still teaching me new things that I can do, so that's
Hmm.
pretty cool. But I'll get back into that here eventually. But one that's bigger that I've been playing off stream, my son kind of got me into is Cult of the Lamb. Um, I
Okay.
didn't I didn't really think I'd dig this one. I'm playing it on one of the tech devices I mentioned I was going to talk about was the PlayStation Portal. Um, I kind of want to get your take on that too, what your thoughts are when I get to talking about it. But um, Cult of the Lamb is yeah, it's very addictive. Like I didn't think it would be. Um, I don't know. Like I obviously went in thinking it was going to be like an Animal Crossing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
because you're essentially like taking care of a cult, and it's much more than that. There's that going on, but it has combat, and the combat's pretty challenging, to be honest. Like, you can run into some pretty stiff competition. I've ate my fair share the last couple times I've played. So and it's got minor roguelike features to it. Um
Okay.
I'm okay with minor ones. I'm not a huge fan of the roguelike genre. But when they do it just right, I'm okay with it. So, like the weapons you get from a run, you can use the whole run, but you can actually pick your path where you're going. It gives you multiple choices, and you can kind of plan out your run a little ahead of time, which I like that. And you can pick, well, I need to go get food, or I need a weapon that's better than what I got, or I may need a tarot card that's going to give me a buff or a debuff, that kind of thing. And planning that out, I like, because I like that strategy part of it. And I like the choice of giving the player the choice and not just forcing you to go one direction. Um,
Yeah.
and then as you continue through, you can upgrade weapons and everything until you get done. And then when you're finished, your next run, it's again, you go in with just whatever's dealt to you, and you just go with it, and now you choose, do I keep running with these weapons, kind of like Hades. In a way, Hades is sort of
Yeah.
similar vibe to this is definitely it's a little more cutesy and tamer than Hades. It's not as difficult as Hades, I'll put it that way. Um but the gist of it is you just kind of build a cult. You've obviously been killed, and you're in hell, and you're working for somebody, and you're trying to free this person so that they can be released, and then in turn they're going to give you, like eternal glory or whatever, right? So there's a little story there too that's kind of good, that keeps you going. But the little chore stuff on it is more it's more hooked into me than I thought it'd be. You have
Okay.
you have to manage everything, man. Like, you have to manage cleaning the whole place up when they throw up and puke everywhere and stuff, and they'll just shit all over your land, and you have to go clean that up. And then you got to work up to building outhouses, so they actually use an outhouse. And then you use the fertilizer, use it as fertilizer to do your crops, and then you grow crops to feed to your people and make food, and you got to mine, and you gotta go in and do seances and like keep them all like basically brainwashed for your cult. um the game's, I don't know, I think it's probably 2 years old now. It's at least a year old, I know that. So I'm definitely late to the
Yeah.
game on it, but man, I'm a little sad I was late to the game. I really thought about getting it to begin with, but my son got it, he beat it, he fell in love with it. That's everything on his Christmas list this year is Cult of the Lamb stuff.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay. Is there that
um
much DLC for it?
there is one pack of DLC you can get. I'm playing it through PlayStation Plus Premium, and that all
Okay.
is included with that copy when you play it that
Okay.
way. Um, he bought it on Switch a while back, so he doesn't have the DLC. So that's what he wants next,
Hmm.
and it seems to be a pretty large game. I am somewhere around the 10-hour range in it, and I still don't have enough followers yet to where I can get into the next door. There's multiple doors that you can open up
Oh, okay.
down in hell to get through, but you have to have a big enough cult following before they'll open. So it's definitely different and unique enough for me, and anybody who's paid attention over the last few years. I'm not an Animal Crossing guy. Um, I outgrew them after the GameCube, and they were just too much of just a chore. Like, felt like I should be doing
Hmm.
something in real life instead of doing what I'm doing in these games. And
Sure.
I like combat, and there's actually combat in this game, so that's pretty cool. So that one's had me a little bit more addicted. I thought about playing it on stream, but I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those games I just enjoy to sit and just be quiet, and kind of my chill game. I tend to not play those on stream as often, but
Yeah.
check out Call to the Lamb if you guys haven't. It's on PlayStation Plus to check out, and I believe it's only like a $20 title, full plus or full price anyhow. So yeah, it's another good one.
Nice.
But speaking of the Portal, I wanted to talk to you about this. Okay, so I picked one of these guys up.
Alright.
I was a huge naysayer on this, because it's you got to have a PS5 for it to work, and fabulous internet and all this other kind of stuff. They they tipped it all on its head, and this just happened by coincidence, because I picked it up for the 30th anniversary. I didn't like just the plain white one anyway, So I got the one that's,
Mm.
the cool gray colors for the anniversary. Um, and the week that I got it was the same week that they put the update out. There's a beta now where you can just stream all of the games. If you're a premium subscriber, you can stream all the cloud games directly to it and you don't even need a console. So in
Okay.
theory, you can just go buy a subscription and buy a portal and you have I think they just hit 150 titles that you can just play and it cloud saves and everything. Um I believe the cloud gaming is better than connected to the console. And at least in my house, I don't know exactly why, but there's like just weird little audio glitches that'll happen when you're connected to the console
Yeah.
playing a game from the console itself versus the streaming over the cloud. um I was a little bit bummed about that. Like I was kind of on the fence, like why would I keep this? But the more I keep playing and seeing the titles grow that PlayStation's putting on there to utilize this new feature, is really kind of like, this is works out pretty nice because I can kind of go anywhere and play these games. And especially if they're just like RPGs that are turn based. You don't really require a whole bunch of internet speed to do that, or latency. Doesn't get involved. From battling or FPS or whatever. Um, but I was, hey, we got Katie Cat in the chat. Hey, thanks for joining the chat. Um,
Hey, kitty cat.
but the thing about it is it's freaking nice. Like I didn't think I would like this thing at all. I was dogging on it for months and months because it just made no sense. But I'm rewatching Breaking Bad with the kiddo now because he's old enough to check these things out now, and we're watching Breaking Bad together, and I'm just sitting there,
Nice. Yeah.
playing chopping off a little bit of games here and there, and playing some Cult of the Lamb or whatever. Which I can't play that one too much, or he'll pay attention to me and he won't pay attention to the show. But um, but like what are your thoughts on these? Like, there's so many handhelds. The Switch is coming out. Switch 2. There's more rumors happening every day. I
Yeah.
you have a handheld PC, right? Don't you?
Yeah. I got the ROG or ROG,
That Ally,
however you want to
right?
say. Ally. Yep.
Yeah,
And I really like using it. I don't. I probably don't use it as much as I would like to.
yeah,
Because I'm more like I like sitting at the computer and or the Xbox and playing stuff like that. But I
yeah,
mean it has saved my life multiple times when I can't be there to be anchored down in my favorite spots and I
yeah,
really feel like playing something and there's something to be said about being able to play Elden Ring just sitting in your bed
yeah,
also too, but I mean not very, I mean it played it well enough. If I was just like doing like just a bunch of dumb crap like not fighting anything real or I'm weapon hunting or something like that, then I would play it on the Ally X. But if I was gonna do like a major boss fight, there's no way.
Oh,
Not
okay.
gonna do that.
Is it a latency
But
performance issue? What's the reason for that? You
uh,
think?
it's with all the
Oh,
quick things you gotta do. It's just cumbersome to
I
use.
gotcha.
But I'd rather have like an actual controller in my hand, whereas I'm kind of like spread apart. But
Yeah.
like something like I don't know, Stardew Valley
Oh,
or
yep.
something like that. Like it's perfect. It's perfect for those.
Yeah.
But the handheld stuff or freaking Call to the Lamb, like that's another great example
Yeah.
of something that would be really good on mobile, I think.
Yeah. I
But
think that's
I feel
their.
like everything's kind of trending that way.
Yep. Feels like it, doesn't it? Everybody's wanting to make a handheld.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
and PlayStation's even discussed making
Going
an
mobile.
actual handheld now instead of just this cloud one like they got with the
Yeah.
Portal. They're talking about like an actual PlayStation Portable again, that can play possibly PS5 games, which that sounds unheard of if you ask me.
Yeah.
The PS5 weighs like 17 pounds or something, So how are they going to jam that into a little device in your hands? But I think you're right. Like, and that's my same take on handhelds as well, where I kind of eat crow, because I was dogging on the thing, but it's nice as just a casual thing to pick up and just have
Mm.
it available to play just
Yes.
something real quick, 20-30 minutes or something, maybe longer. Um, but yeah, nothing like hardcore. Like I don't think that's where these were designed to, feed into. But yeah, uh, just just ridiculous. Uh, what we got? Written Edge in the chat. Hey man,
Hey, Written.
one of your coworkers is an Xbox guy, but he only plays through the Xbox app on his phone. Oh, yikes. Okay. So yeah, he's major handheld guy. He must have like a what, like one of the backbones or something.
I mean, that's crazy because this right here is an
Well,
Xbox.
yeah, it is, right? That's all their advertisement now. That's true.
It's crazy. That's crazy. And like with the direction they're heading with that, it's like this is where I feel like Sony's kind of playing a little catch up with Xbox
Oh
on this
yeah,
front.
absolutely they are.
And I believe, and we've talked about this before on the show too. I believe that I think Xbox is going to give console one more chance, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter because you're let's say you're going to get a new TV for um your studio,
Right?
and you can probably get an app on there that is going to be an Xbox app, and you'll literally be able to play an Xbox game right there on that TV without a console at all.
Yep.
So I mean, they might. I think they're gonna try like one more time, and if it all like falls apart again, and they're third place between behind Nintendo and Sony, then I don't really see them doing another console because it's just soaking up a lot of their money.
Yeah.
But and then exclusivity, it's out the window.
Yeah.
There's
Oh, they're already leaning
I
there
don't even think
hard.
Halo. I don't
No.
even think
Yeah.
Halo's gonna be exclusive
Yeah.
anymore. But we'll
Yeah.
see what happens.
I bet by the end of 26 they're playing Halo on PlayStation. I would
Yep.
almost I would almost guarantee that, honestly. But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. With the mobile devices and stuff. I mean, I have a backbone. It's laying somewhere over here that I enjoyed, playing around with it every once in a while when I was playing Game Pass
Yep.
and everything on my phone, and it worked relatively well, honestly. But I
Yep.
still think it fell in that same column of casual. Like you're not gonna play Call of Duty
Absolutely.
and Halo and try and win matches
Mm.
and all this. You can go in and goof off and just have fun and get your itch, for your drug of choice when it comes to what game you're playing,
Sure.
but that's about it. But I like it. Kind of feels like a nice baby step into moving forward. There's been so many just cloud streaming devices anyway, and like you just said, all of our phones are literally cloud streaming devices for Xbox. Um, and PlayStation, you can do the same thing with a remote play, but it's like stair stepping, just I think slowly enough for exactly what you said, where
Mm.
even maybe a couple generations down the line, Sony's thinking the same thing, but Microsoft has already figured out, like, you know what, we're almost there. Like we just get the tech just tweaked enough, one more step, that's all we got to take, and then we're running.
Yeah, they started doing cloud stuff. Xbox One
Yes,
is when they started
exactly.
doing cloud stuff. Crazy.
Yep.
That's like 10 years ago.
And at this point it's been 10
It
years.
was
Yes,
like
sir.
what? 10 years? Or hair back then. Anyway.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong, and I do definitely feel like I was wrong on the Portal. Um, I I think the thing's pretty great. I'll give more in depth sort of discussion on it on the YouTube channel or something like that later on. I'm working on that right now, but it's pretty cool. You mentioned controller, and that's one of the things that I like the most about this thing is it literally feels like a DualSense that's just broken
Mm,
half. Like it
gotcha.
doesn't feel bad at all. And it has just a fantastic 8-inch screen, so it gives me that like,
Um,
oh, this is what the Switch 2 is going to look like, because that's everybody stated that's what's going to be out is the 8-inch screen on a Switch 2. So that should be, um, I think that'll be just perfect. Like it's just a nice size screen, little bigger than what we got currently, but not holding my
yeah.
breath on the Switch 2 right now. That one's one that's it's
I
coming, but
mean, yeah, I mean,
I don't
the
know.
freaking OG Switch is still killing it, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. It's
sold so
crazy.
many.
It's okay. It's not 4K. It's fine. It's
All right.
okay that it's not 60 frames. It's fine. Like nobody cares about the Switch. But when it comes to if PlayStation or Xbox doesn't hit that requirement of 60 frames, like
Yep.
people lose their fucking mind.
They're
It's
done.
crazy.
Yep, they are. They
Like,
just
holy cow.
they jump off and they stay off too, man. They don't have any waver
Yeah.
in them when it comes to it. But it's like, Mario looks fine at 30. I'm good.
That's great.
He's
That's
fine at
great.
720 in my hands. I'm good. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Zelda Breath of Wild 2,
Yeah.
720, 30 frames.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Don't care, not at all. And Nintendo, they've got the right people in the right positions because
Yeah.
they're not losing a freaking penny
Yeah.
anywhere right now. So I'm looking forward to seeing if all these rumors come true on the Switch, and most of all, I'm looking forward to seeing if they actually come to fruition where they say that there won't be any reason to like scalpers and all this bullshit to happen because it's going to have so many available that there will be no reason for anybody to not have one and just walk in the store and get one. That I
Yeah.
don't think is going to be the case. I don't think at all. But we'll find out, I guess, here in the future. They're saying like
Yeah.
July, I think, is the rumor. So we got like what was that, 8 months until
For a
for launch.
release
Yep.
or
Yep.
holy
March.
cow. And
March
there's
is
still
Yeah. No word. Mum's a word, but they're saying March because that's the end of their physical year, getting ready to go into the next. They're going to
Hmm.
mention it, they're gonna discuss it, show it, all that, and then it's gonna be another 4 months, right? April, May, June, July. Yeah. So it'll be another 4 months, and they're saying that it's gonna have a June, July launch timeframe. And
Hmm.
I'm like, we'll see. The thing that kills me, man, is I want that OLED. Like I've seen so many OLED devices now that Switch OLED, it looks fantastic. But I'm like, don't
Yeah.
buy it, don't buy it, don't buy it. Because it's like I still have my original Switch, so I'm one of the lucky ones. I've never got Joy-Con drift. It still works great. The battery life's still really good. And I'm like, I don't think I need another one. I'm just gonna wait and put that 200 and whatever bucks toward the next one.
Yeah.
But it's like so pretty. It's so pretty.
Yeah, yeah, a little slightly bigger screen too.
Yeah. Yeah, bezel-less
But
almost. Yeah, yeah. Very nice though.
hmm,
Um, all right. Well, hey, let's talk a little bit on our main topic. What do you think?
yep, yep. Let's
Um,
do it.
so we got Xbox, and we've been chatting about them already, so we'll just keep that train going. But I want to talk about the lack of hits and why they aren't more vocal about their games and what's going on. They're launching these titles and they seem to back them up big time, but then they just shut up when they're launched. They don't say a word. They don't help push them. Stalker is one we were talking about a little bit before we started streaming here
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah. Stalker 2. Yeah.
Stalker 2, and both of us have played it, and I mean it seems to be a really great game. It's got an audience, and it launched, it comes out, and then it's just mum's the word, man. What's going on with Xbox? It's not the only game they've done it with either. I mean, they started this with kind of Halo Infinite this generation. They released Halo and just kind of went mum's the word because they screwed the pooch a little bit. But give me your take on X. Why the hell aren't they blowing up and talking about all these things?
Marketing has been really really bad. So I remember for Hellblade 2, they were doing a pretty good job
Yep.
marketing that. Um, and then it just kind of stopped. Let's see here. What else were they doing? I mean, Black Ops 6 that markets itself.
Yeah, you don't have to do a word
You
or
you really
nothing.
you re- really don't have to do a whole lot for that. Stalker 2, like really. So even though it is it's only timed exclusive, so you really can't like
Eh,
theoretically count that like into their ecosystem. So it's kind of like a
I'll
third
give it
party
to you.
exclusive. But Stalker 2, like that one has um reviewed the worst out of everything so far. But I think that's just because when it released, it's just had some buggy issues. They'll get it cleaned up, and it'll get some better press. But I mean, looking at, and I'm just kind of going through Metacritic for
Okay.
kind of a rough and dirty here, okay?
Yep.
So Hellblade 2 is an 81% on Metacritic. That's good.
That's a good
That is a
game.
good score.
Yeah.
That's a good score. That's a good score. And you have Aura History Untold. That was like a kind of a Civ type of game. That's a
Hmm.
74. It's
Okay.
okay. It's okay.
It's
It's not
okay.
it's not terrible.
Right.
Flight Sim 2024, which that was another one they were hyping up, and then all of a sudden nothing. So that came out, and I think it was so popular that they couldn't it like destroyed all their servers or something. So everyone wanted to play that one, and then no one could play it. But that has a 78, so that's good.
Also good.
Um, Black Ops 6, which that's kind of like in a fuzzy area where yes, Call of Duty is now a what do you want to call it? Is Xbox exclusive. So because they bought Activision or whatever, but that has
Right.
an 83, which I think that's been probably one of the highest rated Call of Duties in a long time. Like
In a
normally they
long
come
time.
out and everyone's like, this sucks. But everybody still plays it anyway.
Yep.
Um, and then Indy, which just came out,
Yep.
which there was like some decent press for that. And then as I was looking at a bunch of the gaming websites and stuff they got prior to the release, all of a sudden like Indy was just like blowing up everywhere. So
Yeah,
I think
we were just
this
talking
is
about
good. This
that.
is gonna review. This is gonna review good. And so right now on Metacritic, when I checked that earlier today, it was sitting at 86. So
Yep.
that's pretty good. Um, Metacritic didn't have a Pal World percentage, so I just went off IGN and it gave it an 8.
Oh,
Which I
okay.
think Pal World is another one of those where it's that's probably timed exclusive too, and it's going to go to like other
Yeah.
platforms. I would assume.
I think Power
But
World
yeah, so
launched on PlayStation already. It launched like
oh,
just
isn't on PlayStation? Okay,
yeah, it just happened at one of their showcases. Just kind of a
okay,
surprise launch. Here you are.
okay, good, good. I'm glad because that deserves to go like other places too because that
Yes.
game's pretty good. So, but so I mean, really, I mean, sure, nothing's like we don't have a home run here, but everything's like most of these scores are still good to or okay to good. You know what I mean? But
Yes.
there isn't that title yet where it's like, boom, this is one that's like game of the year contention. You know, and maybe if Indie came out a little earlier, then that could have been plausible. But Hellblade, I know like a lot of the freaking scuttlebutt about Hellblade was like it's too short. It's too
Yeah.
short, you know, and it's just like
It's only like 6 hours, like that kind of crap.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, so for some reason it got, I think, docked points because it's too short, and it's like, so I don't know, but I haven't tried it yet. I can tell you, Hellblade 1 was freaking awesome.
It was.
So I want to play Hellblade 2, just haven't gotten around to it. But yeah, it's just like it's almost like I know well, Redfall was that last year,
It was. Yeah. That was last year. That one
and they
tanked
got
bad.
yeah they definitely ate
Starfield
crow
didn't
with
do what they
Redfall.
expected. Starfield didn't hit
Star
that high like they
Yeah,
expected.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Still popular. It's still living its life and it's not going anywhere. But again, they don't pump a lot of like money or time or effort into, hey, look at all the games we have. I mean, with the newest advertising they've done, it's this is an Xbox. This is an Xbox. Like that's what they've done.
Mm,
But they haven't like with the games. And I don't get it because it seems like they haven't had a bad year. It's been a pretty good year
yeah.
for Xbox, especially after a launch in 2021 and 22 where it was like, what the heck's going on? Um,
Yeah.
so what
Yeah.
we got Justin in chat says could be a gamble too. When and if you overhype a game that people consider shitty, the internet will eat it alive. The internet is cruel world. Influencers have a word above all too. Yes, yes. Influencers can be the worst though. They can be the worst.
Yeah.
Um, that's just the God's honest truth. Um, yeah, I mean, it's true. It is a gamble either way. You don't overhype something, but I don't think Xbox has ever found a middle ground. Like it's either they talk about it too much or they don't talk about it at all.
Mm,
And I think Sony and Nintendo, they've got it figured out somehow. I don't know how they figured it out, but there was just enough advertisement for me to get interested in something like when Horizon was launched. I didn't know exactly what this was. I'm like, okay, it looks cool, the Zero Dawn Horizon. And I'm like, oh, here's another trailer for it 2 months later. Oh, it's coming out in February. damn, this looks good. Like this, like, and then they put out like more and more feelers on it, and they throw it in front of you on the console with advertisements and things like that. And Nintendo has an even harder situation when it comes to they don't have a console that can just blast it in your face all the time. With the Switch is so bare bones, they have to rely on word of mouth and internet and like actual interaction from all of us. And I just feel like for some reason we've lost Xbox. Like we've lost them, and it saddens me some, because it's like when I think of my gaming like core, it was in my 20s and it was Xbox. Like I loved
Yeah.
hanging out and playing games and, with my buddies all on Xbox. And you only heard about so many things on Xbox. And when the 360 came out, it just took off even more. Like it just went through the roof. Um, yeah, so in the chat, Nintendo has nostalgia, PlayStation has heavy hitting console exclusives. Xbox just wants people to play their phones now for easy use. You're not wrong.
Yep.
Yeah, we did just talk about that. And
Yep.
yeah, it's almost like they just want you in the ecosystem. They don't really care about the games in it. They just want you in it. Um, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it just kind of it feels like that. You know what I mean? As long as you're giving the $20 a month, and it's so backwards of 2 years ago, roughly. I'm sitting in the same chair discussing how Xbox has a great curated games list for Game Pass, and it just felt like the better service. Like PlayStation was just trying to catch up to that whole situation, and they're getting closer every day with PlayStation Plus, but
Yeah.
it definitely felt like you had the better option when you went with Game Pass. You were definitely getting a better product for your money, and it's that gap is definitely tightening now because I play a lot of games on the Portal now since I have it, and even just
Mm.
sitting down at the console here and picking up a game and trying it out on the PlayStation. They got quite a few to choose from, and a lot of their exclusives are popping up here every month. They're throwing a Jack and Daxter and a Ratchet and Clank and an Uncharted and at you on that service. So I think that they're learning a little bit from that too. But I think they're learning that faster than Xbox. Like they're catching up to them at that point to show they have as good of a product, if not better sometimes, depending on what you're looking for. Um, but I mean, the thing that blew me away the most, man, was why I wanted to talk about this was Xbox has all the games you already mentioned. That none of them are failures. None of them are like a 2. None of them are under a 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And none of them also, this is the other kicker that came to my mind, none of them are like a stapled franchise. None of them are Halo. None of them were, yeah, like they really leaned hard onto the Skyrims and Oblivions and stuff before they owned Bethesda. They leaned real hard into those. They leaned hard into Call of Duty before they owned Call of Duty, trying to get exclusive maps and
Yeah.
early access
Yep.
and all that, right? All of those things they would just pump so much more into, and they more or less they weren't even their kids. You know what I mean? They're the neighbors' kids. And you're like, hey, you guys look great. You're doing great. And then
Come
your
on.
kids are here, like, get out of here, get out of here, It's just like you still have a great family of games in front of you and people who want to enjoy them, but you're just like closing the door every time somebody comes to the door and check them out, like, nah, I want, like you said, like I want nines and tens, and I'm not going to talk about them unless they're that, and they're going to get me a game of the year
Yep.
award or something. And I
Yep.
find that just uber sad, man. That's just sad.
Yeah. It's a bummer. It's a bummer.
It is a bummer.
And yeah, there could be like we've talked about this before too. I'm one of the small the small group of people actually that like Starfield. And
Right. Yeah.
and I mean I think it's great. I probably put about 100 hours into it, and
Nice.
it is one of those titles where it's just like, yeah, I really enjoyed this game. Um, I played a little bit of the DLC. DLC had an opening awesome mission, and then I got stuck, and I didn't go any further because like, well, now we want you to talk to everybody, And it's like,
Yeah.
well, okay, and I'm like, well, okay, and that kind of like lost steam for me. But as far as like Starfield, like the base game is concerned, like I thought it was a pretty good one. So, but you'll have influencers, like I think what JDub was referring to here, and then all of a sudden it becomes just a crappy game, because there's some people that have just big followings,
Yeah.
and then that um just starts it tumbling out of control basically.
I
And
saw
there are a
that
lot of
happen with
games
Dragon's
like that.
Dogma. That was a game that was not an Xbox exclusive, but like to your point, like Dragon's Dogma 2 was one
Um,
that was it just social media just started dragging it to pieces. Like it was like
yeah,
pointless. Like why are you playing this?
it was like, I don't know. I watched it. I thought this looked pretty good, but I never
Right.
got it. But I mean, I thought, man, this game looks really great. So I don't know. I mean, it's it's interesting, just like how much sway like some of the influencers actually have, and maybe they don't realize it, and they just come out like, this sucks, I'm never playing it again, like, and then suddenly the 10,000 people that are watching that, and then that's what they think too. But and then
And
it snowballs, and
honestly, a lot of those that are watching are probably easily influenced too. You know what I'm saying? Like
mm,
they're in that age bracket where they're like, "Oh, my favorite person who I watch said this sucks, so I'm not going to touch it ever." And they've instantly
yeah,
now got
yeah,
bad juju on it. And they're like, "Nope, I'm
yeah,
never even going to play that game." But if they'd put their hands on it, they'd fall in love with it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe,
I
but
maybe. Yeah, I mean it's not
yeah,
a definite, but close
yeah,
enough.
yeah,
Maybe everybody would love it, who knows?
sure, sure.
But I'm like, I don't know, man. I felt this way about Xbox for a while when they dropped the ball with Halo Infinite, and I thought, okay, they'll pick it up, everything will be good, and then Horizon came out, the Horizon Forza Horizon came out and kind of upticked. Okay, it's winning some game of the year. Like it won game of the year, I think, for IGN, and it just kind of kept going up and up the ranks. And it's like, okay, this is ridiculous. Like what keep going. And then we got Forza. Forza came out, another racing game, and they just said, okay. Like, what happened? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
that doesn't
yeah. I
make
was
any
like, there's
sense.
no way.
No, none at all.
There's no
None at
way.
all.
Yeah, but well, whatever. Yeah.
What we got in chat again here? J W says, I can't even think of one gamer influencer who even uses an Xbox controller on a PC game. If they use a controller, it's a PlayStation controller. Yeah, that's true, man. I've seen that a lot as well. I've heard a lot about that too. I don't know if that's a compatibility thing or what that's all about, but um, I don't know, man. What do you do when you play? Like, because I play mostly on console, so I'm just using the controller for said console. Are you an Xbox controller dude? You
Yeah.
are. You got the Elite. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we got at least one out there that's
Yeah,
an
just one.
influencer. Just
I'll
one.
carry the torch.
That's right.
I'll carry the fucking torch. It's fine.
And you make sure that Xbox controller is right there at the bottom. That's what you're holding the whole time. Yeah. Yeah, I
Oh my
mean, I do
gosh.
see that a lot. He's not wrong. That's for sure. I've seen that on enough scrolling that it comes across. The
Yeah,
same
the
difference.
for
Oh,
me, it just I think a lot of it's like comfort, but
yeah,
Xbox controller just feels a lot better in my hands than a PlayStation controller does. And
yeah,
I've played, like, I've started from PS1 and I've gone through all the PlayStations. Same thing with the Xboxes all the way through. And the Duke, like, that was kind of a cumbersome thing.
yeah,
So when they came out with the Xbox Mini,
yeah.
like, I was
The
like,
S.
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
this feels good. This feels good. But so yeah, the Duke was maybe a little uncomfortable, but after that, like, all the Xbox controllers have been just fantastic,
yeah.
and feel pretty good.
When that 360 controller came out, it was like revolutionary. Like how bad the
Yeah,
Xbox controller was versus how it became the best within just
yeah,
a generation was pretty cool. I really like the PlayStation 5 controller. I definitely don't get any sort of fatigue or anything using it. But I love the Xbox's battery life. That's the one that
yeah.
just it's insanely good. PlayStation 5 controller. I literally have 4 PlayStation 5 controllers. Um, and I bought 2 just starting out because I knew I wanted one to always be charging and one to be using because I knew you're not
Yeah.
getting through too many long sessions with one battery charge. You might as well just get used to stopping at 3 or 4 hour mark. Um, and I that wasn't going to work for me because there's a long gaming weekends that can happen occasionally, and I like to be able to not be encumbered in any way. So and yeah, that thing will suck a battery like a vampire, like Oblivion vampires.
Yeah. Oh, hell.
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, I don't know why it's PlayStation that they would use just because of battery life. It's more people streaming and using that because I would not prefer to use PlayStation controller for that simple reason.
hmm.
And at least I can throw double A's into an Xbox controller as well. But yeah, I want to know more from the audience and from everybody watching, either in chat or later on the game that you feel like Xbox just said just shit on it. Like I don't even need to talk about it. It's I don't care how good or bad it is. Like I'm just not gonna say a word about it because there's so many of them out there, and I just I'm disappointed with Microsoft when it comes to that. Absolutely disappointed.
You almost wonder if it goes back to it's like 360 marketing was awesome.
Oh yes.
And I almost wonder, so like Xbox One, like they had like a bunch of games like in the pipeline, and then everything just like fell apart, and then they had to cancel a bunch of stuff. And what was it was it was a game where it had this cool dude, and he's had his headphones on, he's always listening to music, like yeah,
Oh,
he's like
you're not talking
what the hell
Sunset
was it?
Overdrive, are you?
Scalebound. No, no,
Scalebound.
no,
Oh, okay.
Scalebound.
Oh, you're talking
Scalebound was the one
not
that got
released.
canceled.
Yep, yep.
Yes. Scalebound was like, I think it was being made by like Platinum Games or something like that. Anyway, that one got canceled, and I almost feel like that was the beginning of it. It's like, man, we sunk like so much money maybe into marketing this thing, and then it just ended up just flopping, and we couldn't make it. Like, I wonder if they just lost a bunch of money in that deal, and like we're never gonna do that again or something, unless we
Hmm.
know it's like it's for sure. And then even then, we're still not gonna put that much time and effort into it.
They
Starfield, they had like a pretty good ad campaign for Starfield, and then
yeah.
it just and there's just nothing, freaking
Right, like the
nothing.
DLC,
So
like with
I don't know. Yeah, it's
the
hardly
Shattered
anything for that.
Space. It's like, whoa, oh, it's coming out. Like I wouldn't have known if I hadn't watched the one direct that they put out. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
I totally forgot that. Yeah, I paid for that because I got the $100 edition when it came out,
yeah.
and I'm like, damn, that's crazy.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, it's out.
yeah, and I mean, buddies that I work with that played, the first section of the game or the launch title of it, they had no idea either. So I'm like,
Mm,
what is going on? Like this doesn't make any sense unless it's like a
yeah,
featured direct showcase or something. They just let it go. Like it's not a huge deal to them. Um, Scalebound, you made a mention of that. I had to look it up real quick. They started developing that game in 2013. It got canceled in 2017. They spent 4 years on it before they canceled it. That had to have been damn near done.
yeah.
That's nuts.
Well,
Yeah,
I
it
don't know
was
how
scheduled to
close.
be.
I don't know how close it was.
It says it was scheduled to be released in 2017, and they
Oh
canceled it the same
man,
year. That is just wild to me.
but yeah, I know that. I mean, it looked like it was going to be pretty cool, and
The shots look like it.
and then it was just all of a sudden like, nah, we're not doing it now. It's like oh man, that sucks. We had to,
Yeah.
and um and like something interesting about that too is, so it's like when those hard choices have to be made, and I know this happens like everywhere, but I really do feel like it honestly, that if Microsoft makes that hard choice where like we got to cancel this, then they are freaking crucified for it. But
Uh,
if it happens to Sony, like everyone's like, it's
yeah.
okay, Sony, and it's like, you're so brave by deciding not to come out with that game, and good for you guys. But like if Microsoft like does it, like dude, they are like drawn and quartered, man. It is over for them. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, you're
But
right.
anyway, we that's a whole nother show, man.
Right,
It's like,
yeah.
gosh dang, the double
Yes.
standard in this industry is crazy.
Oh god, the double standards. Yes, yes. That we could have literally a whole conversation about that for an hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
J
Chat.
Dub.
Yeah. Yep. That
Yeah,
whole
that's a
rare
good point.
company, and Xbox. Yeah, that's a hot button of mine. You can't see them right now, right on this particular show tonight, but I have a lot of rare stuff behind me. I'm a huge Conquer fan, and this whole just dumping every ounce of their talent into Sea of Thieves is disgusting to me. Just as a original fan of Rare and wanting to see more of them, out there because there's just not enough of them. Like I can almost guarantee you go to talk to anybody that's in their 20s, they're not even going to have a clue of anything other than Sea of Thieves that company has made.
Hmm.
And I ooh, that's definitely a button that gets pushed of mine that it upsets me. Um, Rare, gosh, Rare is so good and they know what they're doing, and they've just been they just I don't know, he's been bottlenecked. I don't know what else to say about them. Like they have not been able to grow and thrive. And like what is the new game they were supposed to be coming out with? It seems to be getting delayed at every ounce. The oh, it's like Ever something or whatever.
Are
Um
you talking about Everwild?
is that it? Everwild? Is that the
I think
rare
it's
one?
Everwild.
Yeah, Everwild. Yep, there it is.
I
It's like we've seen like one small piece of it and then nothing else. So I don't quite understand what's happening there. I
yeah,
want to see something
I
new
think that
from
was
them. I was excited for this, and now nothing.
yeah, that was an Xbox showcase
Mm-hmm.
a couple years ago now, I think, and now it's
Yep.
like mum's the word,
2020.
nothing.
Yep. 2020. It's been almost 4 years.
Banjo, yeah, Banjo Kazooie. That's another rare title.
Yep.
Perfect
Banjo
Dark,
Kazooie. Perfect
which they're
Dark.
working on a new Perfect Dark. Let's freaking go.
That's freaking go.
Um,
GoldenEye. GoldenEye's the biggest one. Probably a lot of people my age would go for.
GoldenEye, which
Um.
they put that in Game Pass here.
Yep.
I think it was earlier this year,
It
and
was.
that was awesome. That was awesome. Played that again, and
I
that
think
was
it was
freaking great.
very late last year because I remember playing it with my nephew at Christmas last year for the first time. Me, my son, and my nephew all played together. Um,
Viva
what we got?
Pinata, that's another good one.
Oh, Viva Pinata. Yes, just opened up a huge mind block I had there. I was just having a conversation with my daughter about that because she absolutely loves these little
Yep.
cutesy animal games. I'm like, you should play this because you can make your own little thing like in an Animal Crossing, and oh, you can.
Skull and
So
Bones.
yeah, yeah, Skull and Bones. That's obviously, I don't know. I kind of feel that Sea of Thieves and Skull of Bones are similar, but Sea of Thieves is definitely much better because Rare made it and they have passion in everything they touch. But
Mm.
um, and yeah, love Goldeneye. Yeah, Goldeneye. Gotta give love to Goldeneye all the time. I don't care how jank the controls are on the 64. I still made my kid play it with the 64 controller, and because I have the wireless one you can play on the Switch. And yeah, I still forced him to get through at least a couple matches with it so he could at least feel the nostalgia that pain for him anyway, not us. Um, uh,
Did you ban Odd Job when playing
no, I
deathmatch?
let him
You
see
didn't ban
how.
Odd Job.
Yes, I let him see why he was banned in any game ever.
Yeah.
After the first time you realize you can't kill the little bastard. uh, yeah, Donkey
Oh
Kong,
shoot.
Conquer, Banjo, Perfect Dark, Rare, so
Mm,
good. Absolutely, Justin.
mm,
Absolutely. A ukulele is basically a Banjo Kazooie, and it's on the Switch now. Right on. Yeah.
mm.
I've heard of the title. I can picture it in my head, but I haven't played it yet. Knowing that a little bit better, might have to try that one out because yeah,
Yeah,
anything to kind
that's
of
a
scratch that itch.
cutesy platformer. Yeah,
I think there's a sequel to
pretty
that
good.
as well. I think there's two of them, if I
Oh,
remember
that
correctly.
is also true.
Yeah,
That is also
yeah.
true.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country is so good. I didn't even
Mm,
think of that one, and he just had a birthday here recently, actually. Um,
mm,
but yeah, and those actually just got dropped on the Game Boy, the Nintendo Switch Online Game Boy. You can play the
mm.
Donkey Kong games on there. They just dropped out some of those versions of them, so you guys can check out even more Donkey Kong too.
Oh,
Um,
that's great.
and those were rare titles as well. And Yeah, there's just so many, and I just loved how like they're so broad. Like you didn't know what they were gonna make. Nobody knew that Conquer was this mature rated thing, this cutesy little squirrel, running around that looked like it was in a Mario 64, game more or less, and it it's one of my favorite things of all time because it is so obscure and like out there and just has fun with itself. Like there's not enough
Mm.
things that do that. Everybody's too worried about being judged for what they're doing instead of just having fun with what they like. And that's one of the things I think I respected the most about Rare as I grew up and saw more and more they make. And not even knowing, like as a kid, I didn't realize that Donkey Kong Country was also the same company that made Conquer. Like I never connected those dots as a 14-year
Mm.
old. It was just these games look fun. And lo and behold, as I grow older, I realize, oh, they kind of all had the same developer. Oh, well, what do you know? That they all did have one thing
Yeah.
in common, besides my love. Um, Diddy Kong Racing. Holy shit. I forgot about that being a Rare title. Yeah, man.
Mm.
It's so good. Um, yeah, that game I'll pop out and play every once in a while. I have the cart to that one, so my kids have enjoyed that as well. Just right there on the 64 itself. Um,
Mm.
yeah, Rare. I think we can officially say that Rare is the most snubbed developer that Microsoft has. I can say it. I'm going to say it right now. I just did. So I think people would agree with me on that. I think Rare has been left behind for far too long, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that.
That's super sad.
Lots of great IPs. I wonder if like a lot of those rare IPs are still just locked by um
The
just being
Nintendo,
Nintendo property too.
yeah, that whole crossover that you get with
Mm.
licensing versus likenesses and versus publishing and rights and blah blah blah. Yeah,
Because Sea of Thieves. Yeah,
because Sea
that
of
that that
Thieves.
that is that is definitely a good point. Too much. I mean, what Sea of Thieves is that 10 years old now?
I'm looking that up
Did
right
that come out in
now.
14? For real? There's no way.
18. Wait, no.
18.
Yeah,
Okay.
18, 18. Yep, yep.
Okay. Okay. I was like,
Windows and
oh yeah.
Xbox, March 20th, 2018. Um,
My old man heart, like I almost died. We're fine. We're back.
I'm kind of curious on how much money this has made them. Um,
Especially like it going over to PlayStation. Like that was like one of their top sellers.
yeah.
'Cause
Uh,
that's kind of funny. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, because
Season passes, yeah, they got the season passes and stuff too. Yeah. Yep.
oh god, they have so much. You can buy like chests in game. They cost like 600 plus whatever in game currency is. Um,
Hmm.
um, well, let's see here. Um, oh man, I really would like to know. And it's only wanting to pull up all of the in-game currency when you're looking for it. It's like, no,
You
just
want
tell
to
me.
buy it? See if thieves currency? Like no,
This is how they get you. This is what they do.
I
They
don't want to
trick
buy
they
Call of
trick
Duty
you.
bucks either, man. Leave me alone.
No kidding.
I just want to play the game.
Just leave me alone. Uh,
Would you like the battle pass? No, I don't want the
God,
battle pass either.
it's like it reminds me of Dave Chappelle. The whole if the what if the internet was a real place? I think of that all the time. I don't know if you ever saw that episode or not, but he's just walking through a
I don't know
mall
if I've
that's
seen
the
that one.
internet, and he's walking through, and they're like, debt consolidation. And he's like, ah, and they're like, gambling. He's like, ah, and it's like, hey, I got some porn over here. You want to watch? He's like, okay, it's hysterical. I think of that shit all the time when I see all these
Oh
pop-ups and
gosh,
ads.
Chappelle.
I got to get out of here. Got to get out of here. Um, yeah, I can't find the value of this company anywhere, but I'd really like to know. They have over 200 staff members. So I mean they've got to be one of the bigger ones under probably Activision, I would
Hmm.
think. Activision and Blizzard are probably topping them. But yeah, I mean they've yeah, they this whole conversation has made me realize that yeah, Rare is definitely the biggest
Yeah,
loss right here.
yeah.
Um, I mean, I still live my nostalgia bubble with Nintendo and go visit over there on the Switch, and I still have Live and Reloaded, Conker's Live and Reloaded for the Xbox is literally right up here beside me on disc, and I grab it occasionally and check it out. But yeah, man, that's a bummer. That is a big bummer for sure. Okay, so speaking of, we'll just go off on a little side tangent here, quick before we start to wrap things up. I want
Okay.
to know your opinion on something, and that is the whole debacle with Elden Ring DLC being nominated for Game of the Year. What's your stance?
Um, so I'm okay. I'm okay with that. And I don't think just any DLC can work there. Because that DLC added probably 60 hours to the game.
Okay,
I mean, it was like a whole nother game. You could call it we could call it the Miles Morales Spider-Man of Elden Ring. Because it's like Miles Morales Spider-Man was supposed to be DLC, and then they just like, you know what, let's just make it its own game. And I really feel like that it's okay to give the nod to Elden Ring
I
for that. But if it was like, here's a like Starfield Shattered Space DLC, it was like maybe 10 hours.
right,
Like no, that's not enough
yeah,
for it to be considered like a game of the year thing. Um. So, but yeah, I'm okay with Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree
yeah.
getting the nod for that because it's huge and there is so much content and it's all very very good. So yeah,
Yeah, see, I'm on the
I
other side
agree.
of the fence because it's not a standalone title. You cannot just go buy it and play it. You have to have
Hmm.
the primary game to even touch it, and you have to beat the primary game to a certain point, which I've heard is like 70% or something like that.
Yeah,
Before
it was a lot.
is
It
a
was,
lot. Yeah, I mean
it was a lot.
it's several dozen hours, and
Yeah.
you'll get to it. You'll be able to open this up and play it. That's the part that bothers me. If they had made this to where it was its own standalone, and like they just said, "Oh, here previously on Elden Ring," and then here's your DLC. Okay, I can toss a disc in and just kind of do that thing. That would be all right. That bothers me because it just feels like uh, there's I don't know. There's just something that they're always wanting to put something Souls like in the game of the year. A Soulsborne game needs to be in there. This genre has to follow, every year or something like that because I don't know. There just seems to be some kind of inner working that feels like there should have been other games that were as worthy that were actually a standalone title being in the
Hmm.
running instead. I mean, I don't dog it in any way. It's not my kind of game. I'm not
Yeah.
an Elder Ring person. I've
Yeah.
tried, but um, it's like I I don't have a problem if it falls in the line of what you would call a game that can be played alone, but it feels like they're just tacking on another like, hey, let's give them two trophies, one back to back. You know what I mean? Because they already got one for the same game, but now they just got
That's
additional
true.
content. So now we're gonna give you additional content and give you a whole nother, there you go. We'll give you another shot. Um, and it does rub me a little bit the wrong way, maybe a lot of it the wrong way, because my like favorite thing of last year was Phantom Menace. Yeah, right. Star Wars guys. Uh, Cyberpunk's Phantom Liberty. That was my
Yeah.
of the year. I was blown away. That was my biggest surprise of 2023. And it added several hours as well, dozens of hours. It was like 30 plus hours if you really wanted to dump, all of the pieces of it together in there. Um, but chat, what do you got here? Heard good things, but I need someone to tell me why Bellatra is nominated. I was gonna get there, sir. I was gonna get there as well. Um, but like back real quick to finish up my tangent, like why didn't we get a nomination for Phantom Liberty? Because we're
Hmm.
talking a very large campaign, a lot put into that game, and not only that, it was like a huge 180 for Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
That came out, the whole game became new to a lot of people. People who had owned it for 2 years decided to pick it up and actually finish it because they fixed the title from the beginning. So it was almost like launching a whole new game, and then you just get that extra DLC as well. Um, that just rubs me the wrong way. And that's honestly that's obviously that's just my opinion, and it's very, subjective, but because Cyberpunk is my style of game. Like that, I very much love that game versus an Elden Ring. So yes, for me, I'm like, you know what? That's a little bit of a problem. So I
Yeah.
think that this should be a learning curve for the Game Awards. I will be a little perturbed if Elden Ring wins this year for that particular reason. But I think they need to come up with a DLC or an expansion column and just start putting things in there and not doing this anymore, because I don't think it follows a criteria that I personally would do if I were in charge or whatever. Um,
Gotcha.
Now on to Balatro. Have you played Balatro?
I have not played Balatro. I almost
Neither have
got it
I.
on sale. I feel like I should have. So I think I'm gonna keep an eye on it for when it does go on sale. As a lot of people seem to love it. But and I like that it's a I like the deck builder kind of games.
Hmm.
Also, um, which I played Inscription a little earlier in the year, but that one didn't quite get me.
Yeah.
But like games like Slay the Spire, like I love those games. Like
Yeah.
yeah, that's just great. So it's interesting to yeah, I'll have to keep an eye out on Balatro, and I'll pick it up when it goes on sale and try it out.
Well, I have only the experience of Balatro because of my son, who he
Hmm.
he ended up, he got some Steam gift cards for a birthday or something like that, and he picked it up. Somebody at school's telling him about it, and next thing you know, he's like, got to check it out, and he absolutely fell in love with it. Like it taught him more or less poker and the rules of like card games and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
it was kind of neat for him. Like it really served multi purposes, but um I have access to it, so I can play it. So I am going to try this game before the Game Awards, so I at least can go, okay, that deserved a nomination or it did not. Um, but it seems a little too one note to be in the Game of
Hmm.
the Year nomination. It's literally a puzzly roguelite card game. And yes, I have also heard good things. I have heard nothing really bad from anybody who I've known personally who's played it or heard who has played it. Everybody seems to love the thing, but to me, even loving something as much as you may love it, you got to know where it goes. Like like okay, that's
Hmm.
probably not a game of the year, even though it's fantastic. It's made by one developer. Everybody really enjoys it. It's got a mobile version now. Blah 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 blah. And go from there with it. But um, yeah, I personally have not sat down and had my actual hands on the stick for that one and checked it out. But again, I've
I
heard
wonder if
nothing
they're
but good
trying to
stuff.
give I wonder if they're trying to give some recognition to like maybe smaller dev teams.
I wonder that myself.
Because really, like most of the crap you're gonna see in for Game of the Year is gonna be like the big AAA stuff. So if they're trying to like branch out a little bit and try to give nods to some of the smaller guys, like I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that idea of it. Um, I mean, they don't do an indie game of the year, do they? They just, I think they do indie developer, right? Best indie developer.
An
I don't.
indie developer, and I think they do like first like if a developer like is like a brand new game too, and like hey, this is their first game, and they have like a category for that too. But I don't think they have an indie game of the year. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, that might be something kind of neat to put in there as well. So you
Hmm.
give more indie developers a chance to kind of be shine. You can get 5 or 6 of them all in the same column. Um, so has over 60 or 75,000 K overwhelming positive reviews. Yes, on Steam, yeah, the Balatro is extremely popular. Um, Again, I have not heard anything bad about it. I've heard it as one of the most addictive things from a lot of the other
Hmm.
podcasts and shows I tune into. I know my son was addicted to it, addicted to the thing for like 2 months straight, which is hard for him.
Yeah.
He's got hardcore ADHD. I'm just saying, you know. So to keep him stuck on something is it's got to have something going on there. That dopamine hit's got to be working pretty good. But yeah, I don't I I don't have a reason to not check it out. And once it got nominated, I was like, oh, I probably should check it out. Um, the roguelike thing again, which I mentioned earlier in this episode, it's just not a huge fan of that. So that had
Yeah.
me a little bit like, what the hell? But maybe again, like with me and my taste, it's like just trying them, dipping in there, dip my toes in, see what I think of it before I really, put too much of a stamp on it. Sometimes maybe I judge that book by its cover a little too much sometimes, or by that title, I guess. Somebody slaps roguelite on, and I'm like, ah, man, come on, you just ruined my favorite thing. But it's not always bad. Like for example, perfect one, God of War. Love God of War. They put out that Valhalla DLC. I went, nah, I'm good because it has the roguelite deal to it.
Roguelike
Like,
stuff.
and I'm
Hmm.
like, I don't know. But again, that's probably one I should have played. And it could have made me realize, oh, this ain't so bad. It's actually all right. They did a pretty cool job with this. And then I would have maybe started liking these more. But it's
Hmm.
not like a hard no on them, but it's just that whole method of rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. And I look at like every second of my gaming is like just that's just gold to me. Like I don't get enough of it. So it's like, I don't want to give these seconds away to repeat some shit because I suck at games or something. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like I'm just trying to have fun. That's all. That's all. But yeah, Balatro will be interesting to see where that comes out in
Yeah.
votes. I'm curious to see what's going on. And it's a perfect segue because Justin in chat talking about Game of the Year stuff, and throwing out the Elden Ring. I kind of want to know who do you think's going to win Game of the Year, Kelly? Who do you think? What do you think out of those noms? Who's taking her home?
So um I would like to see Metaphor get it because
Yeah,
I like Atlas. I think they're pretty great. They put out great stuff. Um yeah, that's who I'd like to see take it.
yeah.
Um yeah, Metaphor gets my vote, which I
Have
still
you?
need to play, but
I was about to ask if you've played it yet
so,
because I was like, gotta
yeah.
tell me more, man. Because see,
The
I,
the
eh,
the only
I
game I played out of those nominations is Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Yeah, yeah.
So if we go by that, then that's my choice.
No, no, it's not. We can't do
Uh,
that.
but I would like to see Atlas get one because
Yeah.
they've put out everything they shell out there is just all quality stuff and all gets pretty high reviews and stuff like that. So I'd like to see them take one home just because they're awesome. I like them.
Yeah. And to my knowledge, I don't think Atlas has ever won any sort of game of the year for any of their titles. I don't know if
No,
they've been nominated.
the Persona 5 went
Was
up
it?
against some pretty stiff competition. Yeah,
Okay.
and they lost that one.
Okay. Okay. I have
Actually, need
since
to
forgotten that.
was that freaking against was that like God of War and gosh, who all was in that one? I can't remember. I just know that it or that might have been Breath of the Wild that took that one. Uh but yeah, Persona 5 they were nominated. Yeah, which Persona 5 is freaking fantastic. That's another one of those. This is like I don't think I'll ever beat this game. I think
Oh,
it's like hundreds of hours. It's like
yep.
holy crap, but
That was exactly
it's
my problem with it. Yep. Yep. That was 2016. So game of the year winner in 2016 was Nuh-uh. It was Overwatch.
what?
No way.
Get out of
Really?
here, man! No, Overwatch
No
wasn't game of
way.
the year, was it? That's
Da.
crazy.
It wasn't up against Persona that year though, because the nominees that year were Titanfall, Uncharted, Overwatch, Inside. I don't even know what that is, and Doom.
Inside was rad.
What's
Inside
that
is an
about?
awesome game,
Tell me
dude.
about that one.
Have you ever played Limbo?
Yep.
So Limbo is made by the same guys that made Inside, and so it's a side
Oh.
scrolly. You're kind of like doing puzzly things, like in the in the map to get to the next area, and you're just constantly on the run. Um, poor
Okay.
poor Titanfall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
poor
yeah,
Titanfall
definitely
saw
JM.
that.
Definitely
I
JM.
love some Titanfall, man. Big, big, big fan of Titanfall. Prepare for Titanfall.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah,
Titanfall's great.
it
Yeah,
is.
Titanfall 2 was a freaking awesome game, dude. Like a great
Yeah.
that's another one of those where the story is like it's 6 hours ish, something like that. But man, it is so freaking awesome. Like from start to finish. That
It
is such a good campaign in that game.
it
But
really is. That's one that honestly just probably one day this week somebody brought it up on some show I was listening to. I was like, I need to play the campaign
mm,
of that again. The campaign was
mm,
so much fun. My son's currently
yeah, it was
playing
good.
through it on the most difficult level that he can on
Nice.
it because he's played through it a couple times and he's a big fan of it too. So I'm like, gosh, I should do that again. Should do that again. Um, yeah, I don't see the year where Persona was nominated. I was trying to look it up a little bit longer there, but you guys can let us know in the comments and stuff on that one because I'm,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure
yeah.
I'm sure I'm just misclicking on something and it's probably simple to find. Um, okay, before we get out of here, I got one last question for you because we're probably not going to talk until next year. It's
Okay.
about to hit the busy season with the fams, I think so. Anyhow,
Yeah.
um,
We're getting close.
hit me with your hypest game that's coming in 2025. Like what is your hype level for something and what is that title?
How many answers do I get? Just one?
Oh man, you can give me a plethora. It's all good, man. We're just here to
Okay,
talk
okay.
games.
Cool, cool, cool. So I'm looking forward to Avowed.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Um, Hollow Knight 2, if it ever freaking
Yeah,
comes
or
out,
yeah, right,
'cause
right.
I beat Hollow Knight just
You did.
was it
Archive that baby.
earlier or it was in November.
Yep.
Yep, we beat Hollow Knight, so we archived that, and Doom: The Dark Ages.
Oh, yes.
I'm
That
looking
one looks
very, very
very
much
different.
forward to that. Song of the South looks really neat. Um, Tales of the Shire
Yeah,
looks
that
like
one looks
a
a little
pretty
cozy.
chill.
A little
Yeah,
cozy.
yeah, yeah. And so the Spire 2 is supposed to be out next year, and one that just released in early access today. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw that in there. Path of Exile 2.
Oh, yes,
Path of Exile 2.
that's outside of my wheelhouse. I won't be touching that one. There's no way. It's just too
Path of
deep.
Exile 2.
I would just get lost and not know where to go after. See, Game of the Year noms for 2017 include let's see, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, Super Mario, PUBG, Persona. Okay, so it was 2017. I was a year off on that Game of the Year we were discussing there, and the winner would have been Breath of the Wild that year. I do recall there
Yes, that is
Kelly
correct.
saying
Breath
so.
of the Wild
So
won that.
yep.
Breath
Okay,
of the Wild won
that
that.
that is a hell of a list though. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
PUBG and Super Mario Odyssey in there alone. I mean, Zero Dawn is a fantastic game too, but those other guys are much bigger and better, I think. So, damn, yeah, that's a list and a half.
Yes, definitely.
Nice. Thanks for that info. Appreciate that. Um, yeah, man, that's a solid list of awesome games coming out there you're mentioning. Um,
How about you?
Well, my biggest one, and this is no surprise to anybody, and it's probably not going to come out much like your Hollow Knight is GTA 6.
Hmm.
That game, yeah, I got oh my gosh, I got so much hype for that game. It's beyond what I can just come up with words for. I can just sit and think about like, oh, okay, I'm taking a whole week off of work that week, and like that thing. Like you guys are gonna get sick of
I'm
seeing
sick
me on
again,
stream.
man.
Yeah. Exactly, exactly. I gotta take it off unpaid. I don't know what's happening. I gotta figure out something, but um, yeah, that game has I don't know GTA and PlayStation live inside of me a lot like Xbox and Halo, um, and it's wrought with the nostalgia. Um, the picking up GTA 3 for the first time with a buddy of mine. They were running a Toy Story or a Toys R Us sale, where you buy two games get one free. So he and
Yeah.
I both bought a GTA, and then because we knew we weren't going to share that one, we're like, there's no way we're swapping back and forth on that game. And then we got I don't remember which Final Fantasy it was. I want to say it was 10. We got Final Fantasy 10 and shared that one. So we split the total down the middle and we each spent like I don't think it was like $40 or something like that because it was like the
Mm.
total was like $80 or something, because you get the one free game or whatever. And we, we were frugal. We shopped. We had coupons. They took the coupons back then, before the days of Amazon. And yeah, we picked that up and that lives in my mind rent free all the time. Um and the other one is I think this was mentioned in the last show you and I did together. Fable, yes, absolutely Fable. Monster Hunter in chat, yeah, absolutely.
Oh
Hawthorne,
yeah, Monster Hunter.
I'm gonna need I'm gonna need a refresher on Hawthorne. I don't recall Hawthorne in my brain.
Yeah, Hawthorne is like a um lots of different developers from so Bethesda, BioWare, Naughty Dog.
Okay,
So a bunch of people like coming together and they're making this life sim where I think you're an owl or something like that, and it
okay,
looks kind of neat, sandboxy. So
okay,
yeah, Hawthorne could be a cool title there, Catty Cat or Katie Cat. I'm sorry. Um,
okay.
Fable, yeah.
Yeah,
I hope that comes out next year.
me
And
too.
new Monster Hunter definitely does look cool too. That might be a pretty fun one. I've watched like some gameplay of that one. Like I think they had a demo that came out,
They
and
did a
that
beta.
one's
I
kind of
jumped into that one. I did. I jumped in. I had maybe an hour's worth of time of allotted for me before it started getting real bad server problems. Like because it's an always
yeah.
online game, and it just started booting me out into the load screen over and over, and
Oh,
it
okay.
wouldn't let me back in. But I got to hunt two monsters while I was in it. That is actually one I was gonna mention was Monster Hunter. You also mentioned Avowed. Avowed looks better and better every time I hear more
Yeah.
and see more. So Obsidian, they look like they're cooking. So
Yep.
I
Definitely.
like to see that, and that slight delay they gave it, I'm hoping that gives it even more you know sheen when it's done. Metroid
Yeah.
Prime
Yep.
on Switch, fingers crossed. Yeah, yeah, that would be pretty cool as well. Absolutely would. Um, but yeah, those were probably my three. The one I had, and you know what, I didn't write it down, but it hit me as you were talking. Is it Kingsglaive Kings? It's the one where you time travel. I don't think they have a release date for it yet, but you're like a dude in a
um.
truck and you time travel back to the knight's time frame.
Yeah. I don't. What the hell is the name of that game?
And I spaced the name, but it looks so fucking dumb and
it
fun.
it does. It
And
does.
I haven't seen a game like that in a long time that's made me want to just geek out and just do nothing but play that for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, those few are definitely up on my list. It was a surprise to me the more I thought of that question. Is like a Monster Hunter hit that at all, because that little bit of beta that I got to play was much more approachable than the other Monster Hunters that I've tried, and I was really impressed with Capcom for what they've done there.
Mm.
Because I figured it was just going to be convoluted and messy even more than it was beforehand. And
Yep.
and I was like, okay, either I'm starting to understand Monster Hunter or they're starting to understand me, but either way, I'm okay with it. So, um,
If it is not death by tutorial, then I will definitely be more interested because that's where I have the hardest time with the Monster Hunter. It's like you're always in this tutorial. And it's like, man, I just want to play the goddamn game.
yeah,
That's it.
yes, exactly. And
That's it.
I will tell you that's the same style as me. I was like, okay, good. I can play a beta. I can try this. I don't have to spend $70 and regret it again because I have bought every Monster Hunter and regretted it because I'm an idiot and I just don't figure it out, I guess. And I played this beta and it starts you off at the very beginning, everything, and yeah, it was a nice little feeding of here's what you do and not a
Okay.
like, oh, hey, here's this huge buffet, go gorge yourself and die because you have no clue what you're doing. So I was pleasantly surprised by the approach this time versus the last three times for me. So yes. Um, and that game is Kingmakers is what it is, the one I was mentioning.
Kingmakers.
And
Okay.
it's actually says it's coming in early access in 2024. Well, guys, 2024 is about over. Um, so that I don't think that's happened. If it has, I've never seen much about it. But that article was out in February of 24, so that's been about a year. So
Ah, okay.
I think they're still cooking a little bit. So we'll just let them cook. But it looks hella fun. If you guys haven't checked into that one, hit it up on YouTube. Kingmakers looks hilarious. It looks over the top
Yeah.
and just dumb fun. Time traveling back with Uzis and machine guns and cars and just taking out medieval dudes. They have no way
Just
of
friggin'
winning.
run over everybody on the battlefield in that truck or whatever. It's like, oh my
Uh-huh.
god.
Yes, absolutely hilarious. Okay,
Q125. All right.
Q1 2025 for Steam. Okay, cool. I'm glad Steam has something up there. So I thought I had seen some stuff about 2025, so I'll take it. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for those games coming, and I'm sure there'll be several more other ones that that hit me up and we want to check out for
Yeah.
sure. Whether that be on stream or just kind of chilling. But um, man, this is fun. I just like chatting games with you, dude. This is a good time. Good time.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
Yes, yes. Thanks to everybody in chat and everybody tuning in and just hanging out, lurking in the background. That's always a good thing. But yeah, yeah, I enjoy doing this. Keep tuning in on the channel. Update for everybody who's been paying attention, and also for my bud over there. The studio is getting closer and closer by the minute. I bug Kelly like every day with new things that I'm working on to get done because it's like I'm so antsy for it to get finished.
Yeah, you're almost there, man. You're
I'm
almost there.
almost there. Got the carpet installed. Pretty pumped about that. I'm literally just working on some trim stuff, and then I can get into the fun things, which is all that equipment and loud surround sounds and streaming games and just enjoying the space. So I'm pretty excited to bring that to everybody and put some. I'm gonna put something out. I got some people that want me to put out something for the YouTube channel when it's out. Just cut a little video together, take you on a tour, show you when things are done.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Probably won't be enough decorations up when I'm ready, but I got some ideas. I want to do some other stuff. But man, I'm so
Cool.
excited to get that done out there. It's been 3 years in the making, so it's it's just one of them deals. So you got chat, you bug Riles too. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad I'm not the only one that bugs him, so that's good. He can handle it, I guess.
You son of a bitch.
Absolutely. That's great. Um, but yeah, I mean, winter is upon us. So gaming and streaming is definitely a lot happening more, at least on my side of the coin. But Kelly, I think you get on there about every day on your channel, don't you, man?
We try. I think here lately I've been taking Tuesday, Wednesday, and just kind of goofing off and hanging out.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, we're doing Wednesday, Wednesday through Monday in the evenings normally, except for when I work nights and stuff like that. And that kind of like
Yeah.
shifts the schedule a little bit. But we're normally on around 7-ish p.m. Eastern on the channel. So and
Nice.
we're in Oblivion, and we might be switching to Path of Exile too, as long as
Mm,
these servers are good.
mm.
We'll see.
What about indie? Are you dropping indie on the channel? Or are you doing that
I don't
solo at
know
home?
yet.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't know yet. I'm not sure. We might that might be something we come back to, like maybe after it's been out, and then
Hmm.
maybe like come back to it. But yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely play it. We'll just have to see how. Cause I'm honestly like I'm a little gun shy because I tried streaming Stalker 2, and so
Right.
I stream from the same rig I play from, and it's like rig was like, we can't do this,
Nah.
Riles. I'm like
Nah.
I'm like okay, it's fine. But
Drop it down. Drop it down.
yeah, yeah. So and I think indie is supposed to be pretty intense
Taxing.
also too.
Okay.
So we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
So you
But
do a lot of PC Game Pass then. You don't do the console Game Pass.
well, I do console Game Pass. Just I just play. I don't have a capture card, so
Oh, I
I
got you.
stream everything from the PC. Yep.
Makes total sense. I got you
Yep.
for
Yep.
real.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. Makes sense. Um, Custom
That's-
loop 4090 for man,
there we go. There
that's
we
a solid
go.
offer right there, man.
There we go. All right.
Yes,
We're
yes.
in. We're so back.
Right. Yes, yes. The word loop just brings me to Johnny Mnemonic every time. That's a real deep cut, but yeah, loop
Yep.
it. Yeah, man, like I'm definitely going to be dropping some indie on the channel this Sunday.
Cool.
There's no doubt in my mind. I'm gonna bust out the little things I need to do to feel fill the void, so I feel good about where I'm at on the studio over the next day.
Cool.
I got a fun friend outing happening tomorrow, so we're doing our Christmas pub crawl. We're gonna have some fun doing
Oh,
that
nice.
tomorrow. Oh yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Um, and I might throw up a small short or something up on the YouTube channel just to say hey to everybody for the holidays or something there. Just see how goofy we are
Cool.
outside of the game room. But yes, I plan on jumping in on Sunday and playing some indie and seeing what I think of it. You weren't wrong, man, when you said, hey, I think this thing might hit, and then I saw IGN gave it a 9. I'm like,
Yeah, whoa,
yeah,
what?
right, yes, yes,
Friggin' IGN giving an Xbox game a 9? What the
yeah,
hell's
that's
happening?
unheard of.
It's
and
crazy.
and on top of that, it's a tie-in game, more or less. Like not original, more or less. It's
Hmm.
they're taking a character-driven title and going, oh, let's make a video game out of it. So it's not original to them, but I love Indiana Jones a lot. I
Yep.
grew up with the guy, so I think both of us more or less did. But
Yep. Yep.
yeah, I'm really looking forward. I hope it like gets the bad taste out of my mouth from the last indie movie that Dial of Destiny was just no bueno. It's just yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So anyway,
I never watched it. I stopped at Last Crusade. I never saw
then you
any
you
other
did
indie
fine.
movie after that.
You did fine. You
Um,
did fine.
that's yeah.
Rewatching Crystal Skull is much more palatable after you expect everything what's happening. You're like, okay, yeah, you know what? It's still an Indiana Jones movie, but then Dial of Destiny just the ending, I'll tell you, is what did it for me. I was like, okay, that was not good. Um, Yeah, IGN's been fat fingering reviews lately. Yeah, no kidding. I think they
Friggin'
just keep hit.
IGN,
They
man.
just
They're
keep
like,
hitting the
oh,
middle of the keyboard. 7, 7,
we
7.
meant to hit 6. Well, we
Oh,
hit 9. Oh, okay. Well, I guess we're
mm,
gonna give it a 9.
my ring finger slipped. Whoops. you know. So yeah, it's been pretty bad. So, and honestly, I saw the 9 and I just kind of sloughed it off. But the fact that Kelly had said, "Hey, this thing is looking like it's getting something," I went, "Okay, there's
Yeah.
probably other avenues." We got feelers out here, and then yeah, I started checking elsewhere, and I'm like, "Oh dang, yeah," and it's setting it, a middle 80 right now on Metacritic, so it's doing all
Yeah.
right for a lot of people,
Still
not just
still
IGN. So I'm
doing pretty good.
yeah, yeah, I've
Yeah.
kind of let IGN
Yeah.
just kind of fall off the shoulders anymore. I don't really take what they say seriously much any longer. But I'm looking forward to playing it. I want to check it out on stream and see what I think. And that I might try and just finish that guy out as far as stream goes.
Cool.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, last one I completely racked up was Halo 2. Totally finished that one, and then just dipped into a few since then. But I wanna just dedicate and get through another one completely. And
Yeah.
that seems like it'll be a nice bite-sized sort of game for me. Plus, loving the nostalgia. I got to get in there and check it out and share it with everybody.
Yeah.
Get some people going in chat and talking some movies and games is never a bad thing. Uh,
Oh, Nintendo Power,
oh
yeah.
yes, Nintendo Power. Yes, got a few of those around the house as well. Uh, that's yeah, man. I miss magazines. That's a whole nother episode. I
Yeah,
really
yeah.
I miss those pretty bad. So yeah, I mean, check us out. Kelly, drop a little note out there for everybody where they can find you
Yeah, hi, I'm Riles Becker. I stream on Twitch a lot. I work full time, so I stream when I can. But we're on YouTube, Riles Becker, all one word. And then we even have like a little Discord thing that we're setting up as well. So we're kind of getting into that territory also. But yeah, as of right now, I don't have like any social media or anything like that. I'm just trying to keep it as simple for me as I can. So just here on Twitch, YouTube, and got a little bit of shenanigans happening over on Discord, and that's about it as of right now. So maybe like sometime down the road we might dabble into something else, but I don't want to make things too complicated for me because I'm an old man. So
at.
yeah.
Yes, yes. Well, hey, I'm right behind you when it comes down to age and not trying to complicate things as well. I think the only thing I have more than you is TikTok, and that is it. And that's because I figured those out, and they're easy now, so that's okay. But yes, definitely follow Kelly over there. His content's super chill, super fun, a lot like the channel here, and just hanging out and talking games and having a good time together. It's never a bad thing. I always say. Um, and yeah, as far as where you're watching right now, well, I have all the links to TikTok and Discord and YouTube right here on the Twitch channel that you guys can check out. Um, and that's what I got. I also have a Discord similar to Kelly's. It's just very just come and hang out. Let's talk games. You know, got some rooms for everybody to talk about whatever they'd like. So I'm always kind of growing that
Nice.
as it goes. But yeah, um, that's it, man. I think this was a fun chat. I had a good time talking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Looking forward to the next one already, man.
Yes, yes, 100%. So there will be a next one, and in the meantime, you got a couple different things you guys can watch on Twitch and hang out with us whenever you see us go live. Um, Again, I think Kelly's more scheduled than I am. I'll get there eventually. Let me get my shit together. But
Yep.
he's the bat channel, bat time guy, you know. I'm just not there yet. I'll get there. When I get time, I sit down and stream is where I'm at right now.
Hey, now
So
it'll happen. It'll happen pretty quick, man.
it
You're
will.
almost there. You're
It
almost there.
will. It will.
Get that that studio done and off to the races, pal.
Yep. Yep, that's the plan. So full time and doing this is a lot of fun. So this is a great break of life and just kind of hang out
Yep.
with people in the community and just talk video games. So keeping it chill and keeping it
Absolutely.
fun, keeping it light. That's what I like to do. So right. Well, hey, I hope all of you guys enjoyed the episode today. Just talking some games here in the game room. We'll be back on another one at some point. So continue to check you know, the discords I tend to share over there, or just follow here on Twitch. You'll get a live notification as soon as we go live for these. So these are just chatting episodes in the game room, and we'll catch you on the next one. So until next time, take care.
See you guys.